It's so good to have you in front of me finally, Steve Clayton.
Oh, it's good to have you in front of me.
Oh, thank you. So, from City College, and then we started hanging out, but you were running the film and television department. So, how cool was that? So, now what are you doing with your life?
Nothing at all. I go to the beach every day. I just sit there. I look for a stray octopus, but I haven't seen one yet, and it's been 5 years. So
You may be the only stray octopus there.
I know it's people think I'm weird. I don't get that, but
You're weird.
no,
You're definitely weird.
definitely weird.
And that's
No,
why we're here together.
yes, we both have a love for music, and we both are musicians. So I do spend a lot of time playing music,
And we're both Christian men.
and we're both Christian men. Oh yeah, and so yeah, I get
You
to do
started
that.
coming to my church,
I did. I came to your church.
your Bible study specifically.
And the Bible study, yeah.
How great is that?
It's so cool. I love that study. It's so
They're
nice.
they're kind of in awe of me because I invite people and they all show up, but other people ask and no one shows up. So
I know. They said it a couple of
I'm the
times.
star.
It cracks me
Yeah,
up.
I'm the
Yeah.
star of the show there. But it's a wonderful church over
dude,
there. The
Charles, you're
Church
the
of
star
Naples.
of every show you go into.
I'm kind of a big deal.
You're kind of a big deal. It's funny. They really like you a lot.
Thank you.
They really do.
Do you want to ask me anything about me?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm so curious about you. So when we met at City College,
Yeah.
you were a student there, but you could tell that you had a lot of aspirations and you were all excited and stuff, and you were you know, the kind of person that walks in a room and you just can't ignore that person because they're
I'm
cool.
that guy?
Yeah, you're that guy.
Okay.
So talk to us about like what it was like when you first went to City College. Where were you at? Where were you going, and what you want to achieve?
You know, it's a great question because Gail Brower, who turned me on to acting at St. Anthony, brought me to a play at City College, and it was View from the Bridge. It was an Arthur Miller play. I went in, I saw that play, I fell in love, and I realized this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And I just fell in love with it. So that's how, and that was like a summer program over at a performance over at City College, and so that changed the direction of my life. So isn't it interesting that here I am, like literally 40 years later, got a job on a soap opera, moved to Hollywood, and then all of a sudden here I am all the way back a block away from where it first started.
That is
And
weird.
it was City College with classes like yours that I learned production and editing and sound. And so I'm using all those things in my classes here at my acting studio.
Yeah. So when did you know that you wanted to act?
Well, I saw this, I talk about this in the documentary. I saw this thing on the wall that said audition, and I didn't even know what the word meant, but it terrified me, and I knew I had to do it. Whatever it was,
Really?
I'm going to do that. So I auditioned, and of course, I was at St. Anthony High School. I auditioned for it, and I got it, just like everybody mostly gets in those plays. And I think the first play was either The Miracle Worker or Charlie's Aunt. And that was it. I had a bit of a speech impediment, a bit of a stutter, very shy, introverted kid, believe it or not. Me,
What?
shy and introverted, yeah.
I
But
find
it-
that a little hard to believe, but go ahead.
But it helped me because it's reading skills,
Uh-huh.
it's literature, so it helped my reading skills and my communication. I had to, I mean, that's what acting is. You're looking someone in the eye and you're speaking and you're reading and you're learning. So it changed my life. It really did. It really helped me.
So you're two things. You're the type of person you walk into a room and there's nobody else like you. I mean, you're spotted right away, and I mean that in a very good way.
Is it because of my nose or?
No, no, just who you are, your person,
okay.
your personality, how you exude yourself.
Ah.
It just you are, and it's fun. Everybody likes you. It seems like too. I don't get that. Now,
Some people.
yeah, some people not so much, but they haven't been able to get to me yet. So
Yeah.
no, but acting is so funny because it's the kind of thing where you have to kind of lose yourself in it. You have to be okay to mess up, to look stupid. You have to just let go and just get into whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Did you find it hard to do that at first, or was that an easy thing?
Are you kidding? I was the most self-conscious person
That's what I
ever.
thought. That's what I thought.
And I think I'm still traumatized
Really?
from my childhood and trying to do that and having negative experience on stage and trying to get over that, or a negative experience on a set. I was in a class where the instructor yelled at me at the top of his lungs for no real apparent reason, but it made me stop acting for 10 years, and I was probably about 30 years old at the
No
time.
way.
Yeah, and so that acting teacher had some issues, and he just said, I think you should go study with Larry Moss. And Larry Moss is probably one of the best acting teachers in the world, but I didn't listen. I just felt like, I was rejected, dejected from that class. You shouldn't come here. You should work with somebody else. So he kind of gave up. I made it mean that he gave up on me, and that hurt. But that was just me making up a story. He said, go study with this guy. I think you'll do better.
Yeah.
I didn't. Except for I did do it 25 years later. And I got to tell that guy the story. And it was a very healing experience working with Larry. And it's a very different style of teaching. And I realized I don't want to put myself like I am at Larry Moss's level, but the approach was similar in dealing with it with empathy. Mm-hmm. And always scratching at the humanity of what acting really is, this beautiful craft we call acting.
Just kind of aside, just made me think, I've got other questions, but I mean, what enables a person to be able to bring that emotion out? Like crying is the first thing I think of. There's some actors that they cry so well. I mean, you really looks good. I could try and fake a cry, but I don't think it's going to look as good as theirs. How does an actor find that?
Well, I know a few things about you, Steve, and how difficult would it be to think of an experience that just brought you to your knees?
No, it wouldn't be hard at all.
You and I know what that is.
Yeah.
So I like to call that the seed, and so we don't get psychologically, emotionally into the whole reestablishing that traumatic event, but it's just the seed of it, and then the rest is imagination. So right now, as you think about that thing, your son, the seed is there, right? So I think it's very simple. It's like, have this piece be about him. And I think I say this thing to the students. I go, hey, fill up the tank before you walk in that door. Fill up the tank. And it just means fill your emotional reservoir with either the experience or the feeling in your gut first, because otherwise the words are just going to sound like the words and there's nothing behind it. Even if it's anger, just regular anger is kind of boring to watch. Mm-hmm. But making everything personal, I think is just, and we have so many personal experiences. By the way, older people that come to me have an advantage over young people because they have these lived experiences of pain, of loss, of hope, of missed opportunities, of regret. So that's all the things that we could use, in this art form, and I think that's beautiful. Yeah. I
guess you just have to, I'm just guessing you have to kind of practice that to bring that out. That was my next question. How do you, I know you say fill yourself with that, but I don't know exactly how you would do that.
Yeah, you need a safe space like this.
An acting class like this.
Yeah, you need a safe space like this to be able to try it out and know that you're not going to be judged for it. And I got to say, man, people come to acting with ideas of being famous and being on TV or this or that, but the craft is so full of so many gifts for the human being, stepping into the shoes of another human being and the responsibility of that, living other people's lives and their experiences, but always using a piece of you for that work is just put aside Hollywood or fame. This is just good for humans to practice and become more empathetic and more communicative and honest in a conversation,
Yeah, it's and your acting classes bring that out, and that's something I wanted to ask you too. It's like I love watching you do an acting class, and I don't know where you come up with these exercises or these things you tell them, and they'll be in the middle of a scene, and you'll be telling them things to do, and it's just I could see where you would learn so much about yourself and about what you're able to do, and just so much being a part of that, and also to be able to let that go. That would like kind of go back to my other question about how you cry, or looking stupid, like musicians go through a similar thing where if you're going to be a good musician, at some point you just got to let it go, and it's going to be bad. It could be bad sometimes, but you could also hit gold too. You never know. But I love watching your acting class, and I love watching you with the students, and just the exercises you come up with and the things you have them do, and it's like they're excited, you're excited. It just feels exciting.
Yeah, I didn't go to school for this, but being an acting teacher is like a little bit of psychology. There's some technique. There's a thing knowing the theater and how to move and how to speak. But then it's like, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I'm just now starting to get pretty good at it, and I think that's why when you look at most acting teachers that have become famous, they're all like over 60 or they're 70 or they're 80 years old. It's accrued life experiences and knowing how to deal with actors individually that may not work for this actor, but it may work for this one. And to answer your question about what happens in class, I wear a director's hat because I've been behind the camera so often in my life as a cinematographer, shooter, producer, that all that stuff comes up. So I always tell my people, hey, I'm going to wear my director hat now. I'm stepping out of the acting right now, and I'm going to come in as a director, and then we'll work on some movement and maybe use props and figure out how to take the scene to another level that turns it into a piece of art that you are witnessing for the first time. And that's the most exciting thing for me lately about acting, is that when something happens for a first time, even if it's a mistake, that's the real thing. That's the humanity. Not getting a word right, not knowing what to say. And I also say, isn't it interesting that the actor knows the words, or should know the words, but the character doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
So reaching for those words for the first time and not knowing what they are is a great way to approach dialogue.
I would have never thought of that.
No?
No, that's a great thing.
Well, thank you for saying that, because I've got these cards here that I developed, and it's called the deck of 52 secret choices for the actor. I wanted to show those to you. And you can take out that deck if you like. And I'll show you an example of what I developed these cards because I noticed that actors would be kind of doing their own show.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be void of what's going on in front of them, like the other person. That's the most important thing.
Right.
That's a crushing blow that I got from a master acting coach, a wonderful teacher. And she goes, Charles, you're a great actor. You've got all these tricks, and you're like fascinating to watch, but you're missing so much. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm an acting teacher. I'm an actor. I've been doing this all my life.
Yeah.
And she goes, you're missing the most important thing in your acting, and that's the person in front of you.
Wow.
You're missing all that. Like
How'd
how
you-
you're
how'd
looking
you
at me
feel
right
when you
now.
heard that?
I was crushed. But boy, it changed everything, not only in this studio, but for myself. Like how you're looking at me, how you're shuffling these cards. Like there's no way I can become self-conscious of myself if I'm my attention's all on you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the big problems of acting is the self-consciousness part of it.
Okay.
So these cards were developed mostly for, I tested these with about 800 actors in my class just to see if they would work, and I came up with these ideas.
Okay.
And the idea is, like, say you did a monologue,
All right.
right? And I would just throw a card at you, and you would have a second to look at it, and then you would do it. So I know you don't have a monologue prepared, but why don't you just pull a card and let me know what it says.
It says, romanticize. Romanticize the ordinary, e.g. if you're delivering a
Example, yeah.
Okay, example. If you're delivering a letter, make it the most romantic moment. Okay, I can see where that would be fun.
Yeah, so let's give you a line, okay?
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me do
yeah,
this?
Yeah. Let's give you a line with that one. Listen, I found this FedEx package outside your place, and I wanted to deliver it to you.
Okay. Romantically.
That's right.
So you would be a girl, or?
Does it matter?
Well, to me it does.
Okay. All right. I'm a girl.
All right. So I found this FedEx package, right? That's the line?
And I wanted to give it, and
Okay.
I wanted to deliver it to you.
All right. Hey, I found this FedEx package.
Yeah, do it without that card. No, in other words, do it without the choice you just pulled. Just do it like you normally would do it, just flat.
Okay.
To me.
All right. I found a FedEx package. I just wanted to give it to you. I forgot what the last.
No, that's it.
Okay.
I just wanted to give it to
I
you.
just wanted to give it to you.
Okay. Now do the choice.
Okay.
The 52 secret choices
Yeah.
card.
Gotcha.
One of them.
Gotcha. I found your FedEx package, and I just wanted to give it to you.
Pretty good. Pull another card, please. No, you're doing awesome.
That was hard.
It was?
Well,
Didn't
God,
seem.
I mean,
You did it in a second.
Being romantic.
All right. Can I have the deck? Okay, good. All right. So let's do this.
Okay.
This is my favorite. It just popped up.
good,
Maybe
good.
it's the reason. This is
Good,
why it's happening.
good,
Okay. I was on my way to church to play bass, and I was afraid I was going to be late. Can you just say that to me?
Okay. I was on my way to church to play bass, and I was afraid I was going to be late.
Do it again.
I was on my way to church to play bass, and I was afraid I was going to be late.
Okay, great. I want you to look at this card. Don't say it out loud. Okay? And then we're going to put it down, and I want you to do it with this.
All right.
Don't take too much time, okay?
All right, and don't say what that is.
Take your time. Take a second.
That got me so much that I
know.
forgot the line. Okay. I'm on my way to church. Is that right? What's that?
To play music,
Okay,
and I
okay.
think I'm going to be late.
I'm on my way to church to play bass. And I don't know the other line, but I wish I knew it.
I love it. Read the card out loud.
It says, imagine your genitals are on fire. To be real, I've never really had my genitals on fire, so I don't know what it actually feels like. But.
Ever got some Bengay down there by accident? Or some Vicks Vapor Rub?
This conversation is going to go down fast.
I know. Okay,
I know.
I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it again. Let's try something different. Well, you know what?
Why not? It's just me you're making fun of.
All
so-
right.
No, I don't care. I'm fine.
All right,
I'm
this is
good.
great. Okay, here's one for you. So, yesterday I had dinner with my daughter, and some things came up. Say that.
Okay. Yesterday I had dinner with my daughter, and some things came up.
Okay.
See if my genitals are going to be on fire
They're going to
again.
yell at me right now for moving around with my mic. Okay. I know it's strange. But look at me.
Okay. The line. Tell me the line again.
I had dinner with my
Oh.
daughter last night, and we talked about some serious things.
I had dinner with my daughter last night, and I forgot the line.
It's okay. We talked about some serious things.
And we talked about some serious things.
Good. Can you read that choice?
It says, "Don't do anything for as long as you can until you are inspired to." I wasn't sure quite how to take that.
Oh, I understand.
I was
but
going to be quiet
just
for a long time.
But the fact that you did that made us want to lean in. Like, what is he doing
Yeah.
right now? By the way, there are two things that I learned recently that have changed everything in the way that I teach acting and the way that I do it. And there's a guy that figured out, he did all the science about what it is that brings people in, or they get called in by a casting director or booked on a role. And he has a bunch of tools, but there were two that stood out. And the one is that the viewer needs to feel a sense of distress. And the second thing is a sense of empathy. Like a little worried about what's going on with you. And then to be struck by the empathy about that. And for some reason, that affects the humans that are watching. And that affects a change of action. We have to have this person. And so what you did without you knowing, even though you're worried about the lines and everything else, because you stopped and you didn't say anything, we leaned in. And then you took a beat, and then you said the second line when I gave it to you. So anyway,
I get that. I can see all that.
there's 52 here. There's an advanced deck. It's the red one. But I just wanted to go over these because they're so fun.
They are.
And like I told you in the beginning of the interview, when things happen for the first time and they're spontaneous, as you know, as a director yourself, that's exciting, and the camera loves that. And how do we continue to be able to make that happen on camera is I think, very exciting.
It is. Oh, it's amazing. This is incredible. I could see where this is so good because it just opens everything up. You know, use a simple line, a simple thing you say, and then you throw these in there and it's like, oh, wait. And you already thought of how you were going to say it the first time, just neutral.
Yes.
But then when you give, say, do that.
And when the camera's rolling and you throw this card at the person, they're like, you know, it's like
I know.
a little uncomfortable, like the one I gave you, my genitals are on fire. You know, it's like, how am I going to do that? So you don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm on my way to church and I think I'm going to be a little late. You know, we don't know that your genitals are on fire, but it's...
Now, if you had said to me, make it obvious there's something going on really serious down there, you know, like your genitals are on fire.
Yeah.
But don't say that. Just make people think that that's something severe.
Well, it's uncomfortable in the body. It's like there's too much heat down there, right?
Well, yeah.
I have this one in here, which is crazy. It says basically whistle for no reason in particular.
Okay.
You can't be laughing when you whistle. I have new teeth, so I can't. I've been looking for a place for years, and I found these beautiful chairs behind me, 65 of them, and I got the chairs and I didn't know where to put them. And my mom says, hey, you have a cousin that has a unit where you could put that storage stuff in there. And I go, what? So I bought these chairs, didn't know where I was going to put them, 65 of them, only 50 could sit in here. And I go, someday I'll find a place to put it in there. Anyway, so this place opened up. It was a rehearsal place for people that played horn. It was a disaster. Carpets on the wall, carpets here, 4 rooms to rehearse, you know. Anyway, I looked at it and I go, I just want a place to teach acting. Fold-out chairs are enough. A big picture of Al Pacino on the wall. Perfect. That's all I need. Right. But instead, I brought my student over, Camila Lima, who is an incredible opera singer. And it was all under construction. There was dirt every place. There was nails popping up. And I go, Camila, would you come down here and just sing for me? Because I have a feeling this has really good audio here. So she stood where you're sitting, and she sang an aria a cappella. There's dirt all over the place. I was back there, chills, of course. And I'm like, okay, this is a theater. And so that's how this acting studio kind of gave rise to the Aurora Theater. And then I had an improv teacher here, and he said to me, he goes, what are you going to name the theater? I go, what do you mean? It's my acting studio. He goes, no, but it's a theater. It's an acting studio inside of a theater. So what are you going to call a theater? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, well, what's your mom's name? I go, Aurora.
It's his idea?
It's his idea. He goes, he said, what's your mom's name? I said, Aurora. And everybody that was in that class that day go, it has to be Aurora. So that's my wonderful mother over there, as you know, you've seen.
Yes.
And she's the one, her and my father, that just gave us art and exposure to opera and music and dance and movie, everything they gave us. So my mom sat in that front row in that center seat there, and on her birthday, I named the theater after her.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it's been a great place for people to put up their shows, rent the space for something, one-man shows, improv, stand-up comedy, plays, opera. It's been just a great space. And my friend David Telling said, he goes, this is Long Beach's most intimate theater, and that's how you should market it. So I'm like, so that's what it's been.
I agree. And you know, when you come in and you see the picture of your mom, it just makes sense. It's perfect. You know, the Aurora Theater. But the thing I love about this place, the vibe that you have in this place with those chairs that you made sure you got, and how you just dressed up this place. I mean, you feel theater. You feel that so much when you walk in, even more than a lot of stages I've been on. I mean, it just has such a nice vibe. So you're already in the zone when you come in here. You know, you're already there. You got a little stage, and then whether you're doing music or stand up or acting or whatever, it just seems natural. It just seems perfect. I think it's the best environment I've seen for an acting class.
Really?
Yep, I really
Thank you.
do.
Thank
I
you.
love
It's
this
been
place. I think it's great.
It's a godsend, man, and it's my parents, man. It's Aurora and Tony
Really.
that gave my brother and I all this exposure to the art.
Let me ask you something. You've produced, you've acted, directed. You're a musician. You're a good musician. You're all those things. What do you have a favorite role that you like to do?
A role?
Or one of those roles. Is there one that you like better than others? I mean, you like acting better than directing or playing music?
Oh, of those roles?
Yeah, of all those roles that you're capable of doing, that you have experience and you're good at, what's your favorite?
I'm kind of like you, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm a polymath, and I like it all. I want to do it all. Maybe that's why I haven't been successful totally in one area, is because I'm pulled in the direction of shooting and editing and acting and teaching, and I love it all.
You're blessed because you are blessed with a lot of talents. I mean, I want to tell you just a quick story about that.
Make sure it's quick.
Okay. I'm 19 years old. I'm still a senior in high school, I think, and I'm playing nightclubs. I remember it was the Breakers Hotel. It was a little nightclub in the bottom, and so I'm playing, and it's our third or fourth break, and I'm sitting at the bar with the guitarist who was a jazz guitarist. I was playing in a soul band, so it was all black except for me and then this jazz guitarist who was way out of. It's like, what are you doing in a soul band? A jazz guitarist. But anyway,
wait a minute. You're not black?
No. Anyway, so I remember we were sitting there talking, and I was doing some film, but I was kind of doing some music too. Obviously, I'm playing. So I'm telling him all the things I'm doing. I remember, and we were having a serious conversation. He looks at me and goes, "Aren't you afraid of being a jack of all and a master of none?" And I had this dream about being the next Steven Spielberg. I hadn't really got into films yet, but I wanted to be that guy, the famous director of movies and all that. And that really got to me. I thought, yeah, he's right. I should concentrate on one thing and just forsake all that other stuff. But you know what? I couldn't, because I love music, and I love directing. I love TV. I love radio. I love all of this. So I know where you're coming from, but that was just funny. He made me think for a second that maybe I shouldn't. But no, I think if you're talented in a lot of different areas, you want to use all those. You don't want to just.
I think I'd be really bored if I was just directing or just acting or just editing.
That'd be more than enough for a lot of people.
Do you mind if I ask some personal questions?
Not at all.
Okay, got it. You lost your son.
Mm-hmm.
And how old was he when that happened?
35.
35 years old. Can I ask you maybe why, or should I ask how? I mean, I really am very curious, because from what I understand, it seemed like you had a pretty good relationship with this young man.
Oh yeah, we were really, really close.
What was his name?
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at 2 years old. His mom left, and so I pretty much raised him as a single parent from that point on. And he became he's just a very unique kid. He's so smart. He has such a great sense of humor. I mean, you just love to be with him. And he was like my daughter. He would talk to older people. A lot of kids won't talk to adults. He would just, and he could go command a room at 5 or 6 years old. Just great personality, a good kid. and he became a great. His talent was sports. He was a great soccer player. He won the state championship in high school in his senior year at Wilson. They went undefeated, and he got Offensive Player of the Year, which was great, But soccer was my life for most of his life. But yeah, and how he died? Is that what you wanted to know?
Where did you first see the issues, maybe, that your son was facing some?
Well, he died of alcoholism, so it was drinking that killed him. And,
why do you think he drank?
Well, he had some problems with his mom and with his stepmom, my wife at the time. There were some issues there. And then he was just kind of living the fast lane. He was a bartender at, the big bar on 2nd Street, the one that...
Oh, Legends?
Yeah, not Legends, but right next to Legends.
Shore...
Yeah, you know the ones.
Yeah.
So he was a
Shore
bartender
House or
there,
something.
and then he was a bartender at Sharky's in Huntington Beach. They both...
So not the greatest environment.
No, he was around, and then all his friends, they all like to drink, and so when they weren't working, they were drinking, and he just got into a huge habit of it, and then he got a good friend who was a real drinker, and yeah, but he was really smart too, so I don't know why he succumbed to a lot of it, but yeah, he was in the hospital maybe 3 or 4 times with liver problems and other things, and so...
But you called it suicide.
No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay, so the body shuts down after a while, right? The liver shuts down, the body shuts down, and he was 30...
35. To be honest with you, I mean, as much as I loved him, and you couldn't love a son more than I loved him, we were so tight together. It was unbelievable. But going through this process, he'd go to the hospital, the doctor would say, hey, you can't come back here like this again or you'll die. Your body just can't take this, So they'd get him off, and he'd be good, and then he'd go back. And he went 4 times, And so that was kind of... It was really frustrating, and so we had these long talks with him, me and his biological mom, about you have to stop. Can you imagine what everybody else is going to feel like if you die? We're telling him this, and so part of me inside is going, I'm thinking if he keeps doing this, he's going to die, and I'm going to lose my son, and it just kept this just never ended. It just kept going. So almost when he did finally die, I was never glad, obviously, never ever in my whole life, but part of me could rest for a second. Now I didn't have to, I was always worried, is this going to be it? Is this going to be it? Because he just wasn't stopping. And he tried. Towards the end, he went to all the programs, and he did an inpatient thing, and then he was doing good. He came over my house one night to make dinner for me. He was an incredible cook. He came over, he made dinner, and we were sitting there watching Airplane, our favorite movie. And I sitting on the couch, and I just moved into this house. And so it's just me and him. And then all of a sudden, he just made this weird sound, and I thought he was joking around. I look over and go, Adam, and he just was like this, I wasn't doing anything. I go, Adam, would you stop it? And he stayed like that. Adam, then I went over and I saw him. He was laying on the couch, and I was on the chair. So I went over to see him, and then I could tell, he wasn't responsive. I thought he was messing with me the whole time. And then I couldn't. Then when I knew it was bad, is I was trying to roll him off the couch to get him on the ground so I could start doing CPR. And I got his arm twisted in a really weird way, that would probably really hurt somebody. And he was nothing. So it's like, oh boy. So I think, really myself, I think he may have had an aneurysm or something, but something happened very quick, and it was just over.
Are you saying that your son died in your arms?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty tough. So, I gave him CPR and did that, waited for them to get there, and, they get there and they take him. But I already knew he was gone.
Yeah. Is there anything that it sounds like you guys had a really good relationship, a great relationship. Is there anything that you wish you would have told him at all, or any the thing you would have said that you never got a chance to?
No.
You got it all.
Oh, man.
I think that's why when I talked to you about it, and you seemed like at peace, like whenever you talk about him, it's like with a sense of fun, and you recall him, and I think because you are complete in your relationship. I wish I had that with my father and my mother.
Oh my gosh. If Adam was sitting right here, he would have you in stitches right away. I mean, he was just so funny and just naturally.
Well, he got that sense of humor from you, of course.
I think he
Yeah.
did, but he
Probably
was
not his mom.
no. No. Well, his mom was half black, so, and he was really a cute guy too. He was really beautiful. I think most mixed kids always look good because they don't get they get the best of both.
I agree.
That's how that goes. But yeah. Also, weirdly enough, my mom died in my arms too. So she had a heart attack coming back from Vegas, and they were in Barstow. And I drove up there because my stepdad was with her, and we didn't know what was going to happen. I want to make sure he was okay. He was one of the best men in my life. Great man. And so I go up there, and she had a pacemaker. They did surgery. She had a pacemaker put in. She's in the intensive care unit, and I'm talking to the doctor. And he's saying, yeah, we did this, but she should be okay. We're going to keep her here for 2 more days, and then she can go home. I go, great, we have a huge family. So I got on the phone, calling everybody, telling them she's going to be all right, So then I go into there, and I'm sitting with her, and I'm holding her hand, and the guy's putting a new IV in her, and he's poking her, and she's going, oh, wait, one thing before that. While we're sitting there, she was an ornery person. She really was. And I mean, there was a lot of things about my mom I didn't like. I'll just be honest. There's things I love. She's my mom. I love her. But there was some things towards the end of her life. And the doctor says, okay, make sure you don't get your hands any higher than your elbows or than your shoulders, okay? Because we have leads going to your heart, and we don't want them to be pulled out. So just, oh, she's okay. So I'm sitting there with her. She's going, well, look at this. She's doing all this stuff. Her hands are going up. I go, Ma, don't do that. Stop. I go, remember the doctor said don't do that. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. No, I know what I'm doing. So I'm going, oh, stop that, and I was worried, Anyway, we're sitting there, and the guy's doing the IV, and she's made this gasp, like that, And then all of a sudden, I could see the monitor was flatlining, and I went, oh my gosh, she stopped breathing. So they rushed us out and, did the code blue thing and all that kind of stuff, and she died. And the hard part, and then I had to get on the phone. Which less than an hour ago, I called everybody, said she was going to be fine. I had to go back and call those same people, tell her she's gone.
Man, I don't think there's anything more painful than losing a mother.
Son. Son was pretty hard.
And your son, right?
Yeah, but God is good, and He got me through all of this because I honestly don't have any explanation for it.
I got to say, I feel like the experience that I've had, I feel like traumatized, just get like a trauma baby,
Yeah.
But when I look at you and I talk to you over the years, I don't see that. And I don't know if that's God that helped heal you or just like your personality. And I'm just much more emotional maybe than you. I don't know what it is, but I just wonder about you. I wonder... do you have
I wonder about me.
built up trauma? See, built up trauma inside that maybe you haven't dealt with at some sort, or do you feel, because to me you feel like it's resolved and it's good and it's in the past. Right. And I wish I could get to that.
No, I don't. And you're not going to like this, but I really have a feeling that a lot of people like to hold on to trauma because it gives them an excuse to not do something they probably should be doing. Not everybody, obviously, but I've seen enough people do that. And that's why I say it's God, because when these things happened to me, Charles, I mourned. It was hard. I mean, I cried. Everything happened. But you know what? Over time, you get better. And I can talk about, and I refuse to not talk about Adam. I've got his pictures in my, I got 2 great drawings of him of when he was 2 years old and the last year of his life.
Wow.
And it's great. They're both
drawings, you said?
Yeah, charcoal drawings, black and white.
Who drew those?
An artist friend of ours.
Oh, wow.
Did that.
Okay.
And because I don't want him to die in my mind, in my heart. I don't want that. I want to keep him alive, and so do my daughters. We're always talking about him all the time. Oh, Adam would love that, or Adam
whenever
would
you
say
talk
this.
about your son, you have such a smile on your face.
He was awesome. He was so good. I'm not going to sit here and just be, he had trouble. He did, but the majority of his life, it was so good. I'm not going to take away from that. I'm not going to get ripped off from that. I mean, it was good, and I loved it, and I'm not going to forget it. Sometimes there are times, like I might be out on a walk, and it'll just hit you. You just go, whoa, oh man, and you're just swelling up inside, and just for a second, and you just breathe through it, and you're okay. But
Steve, you never had issues yourself with drinking?
No, never been really much of a drinker.
And your wife during that time, the mother of Adam?
Yeah, no.
She didn't have any.
No, there was no drinking. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. No.
Yeah.
No, none of that.
Wow.
And I also believe that as a Christian, I believe that this life here on earth is just a vapor. This is going to go by fast. It seems long for us, I know. But I know when Adam was saved, and he became a Christian early in life, and he struggled with alcohol. A lot of Christians do. It's not, if you're an alcoholic, doesn't mean you're not a Christian. It just means you're struggling, and it's an area that you haven't overcome yet.
Yeah.
But, he was like, he came back to the Lord. I remember when I took him into the first facility that he was going to stay at, he could only take one book in there. That's all they could get. And he goes, Dad, do you have a Bible? I want to take that. And I didn't have a Bible for him right then. I'm like, come on. But luckily, we were eating at In-N-Out right next to Calvary Chapel, Pacific Coast. So we just ran over there real quick, grabbed him a Bible, and he took that in there. But, I feel confident that he's with Jesus right now. And I know I'm going to see him, and so, my mom, I don't know. I think, but I don't know.
Well, God bless you and your family, Steve, and thank you for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
This is a great experience, hanging out with you in front of the cameras that we love, you and I.
I know.
Is this like juicy or what?
I love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we didn't get to your hard stuff yet, though, so we'll have to do another episode of Charles. Find out what's in here.
Yeah, it'll be called The Tears of Charles.
That's when we'll both be crying.
Which are never-ending. The never-ending tears of Charles. Oh, it actually kind of rhymes.
Well, let me just say this to anybody who's watching. This program here, the acting classes, all the different classes that they have in here are awesome. They are so good. You'll have so much fun. I mean, if you just take them just for the fun of it, that's all. It's worth it. You'll learn so much. So you learn about yourself, you learn about other people, you learn how to communicate, and you learn about acting. And you get to meet guys like Charles and some of the great teachers that they have that work here. So this is the best place. It's small, comfortable. You feel like you're home. It's great. You'll love it.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that plug.
Well,
okay, Venmo or PayPal?
That's going to cost you. Remember, but you told me to say. Told me to say that.
Don't say anything.
Okay.
We're still on camera.
Are we still rolling? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Sorry.